Let's surprise Matt again with a topic he has no idea is coming.
This episode is brought to you by the Herzog Foundation, and as always, the thoughts and opinions expressed within this episode are those of your hosts and not necessarily of the Herzog Foundation. Welcome to the Christian Principles Podcast. I'm Matt George.
I'm Mark Zockoll. I'm excited because every so often I get the opportunity to talk to people outside of co-host Matt George. And when I do get a chance to talk to these people, I'm blown away by how much I miss this man. Just joking. We didn't mention on our last episode, but it was his birthday. It was his birthday recently.
Oh, was it?
So excited
Really?
for him.
Well, you know, these birthdays, as they come and go, it's just like, you know what? I don't even remember how old I am anymore. Like, we've reached that point.
Yeah.
I don't even remember.
If the ladies get to stop at 25, you can stop at 25 too, man.
I don't want to stop at 25. I'll stop at 30. 30's okay with me.
Okay, 30. You're going back to 30. No problem. All right. So we are having a conversation. Matt has no preparation for this, even though he's been preparing for this all of his life subconsciously.
That's exactly right.
Subconsciously, he's had thoughts about this.
Subconsciously and consciously. I'm very aware that I'm prepared for all things.
Oh, that'd be nice if you were prepared for all things. Prepared for this?
Blah.
I just smacked him in the face. Wasn't ready for that. Miss me. All right. So I do have, again, there are other people I speak to about things in education.
Dare you.
I do have alternative friends, not friends living alternatively, but like ones I can turn to when I don't want to talk to you anymore. And when I do hear from this specific friend group, they've been referenced before.
Yeah.
They've been referenced before. And it is the closest thing to my sibling thread. I mean, you know the sibling threads.
My word.
The sibling threads are no holds barred. Say what you want. May they never be published.
I was going to say, people just don't know.
Yeah.
There is nothing like the Zockoll sibling text thread.
I'm sure the George one's pretty alive as well.
It is not. It is not. It is not even a drop in the bucket.
Okay, but this is the one that is as close to, shall we say, unfiltered or just raw or open as my sibling thread is this text that I have with these three other gentlemen, a former teacher, one who is a current associate pastor, and one who does nothing in the ministry besides go. I mean, he's a good guy. He goes to church. He's very involved as a deacon. I don't think he's an elder yet, but he's a deacon in his ministry. And anyway, all of us products of at least Bible college. So there is Christian education shared amongst us. We share amongst us. We share an alma mater. And in that thread, there is a public school high school graduate. There is a homeschool high school graduate. There are two of us who were Christian school education graduates. So we do represent a little bit of diversity of viewpoint in that way. But in this thread with those peers, I was asked this question. Zoc, why do nearly all Christian school mascots have the same level of lameness and lacking of creativity? And I was somewhat, I didn't want to just give over immediately that his broad, sweeping statement was appropriate and really reflected the majority of Christian schools. But, of course, what did I say? Christian School's mascot episode, check. We're going to do it.
Yeah.
We're going to have it. So off the cuff, Matt, go ahead and respond to my good friend's thought about Christian school mascots being of a similar level of non-creative lameness.
I do have a little bit of experience in this because, as we all know, because our alma mater went through
exactly
a mascot change.
And we can talk about that. We should set the ground with that. That's absolutely fine.
And I would say that's where my journey kind of began in this preparation for this episode. Because at that time, I was employed by the school in the admissions and marketing department.
You can name it. That's fine.
So that's where I felt like I perhaps had a little sway.
There you go.
Yeah. I could, now come to find out a little bit later that I felt like it was really more the athletic department that anybody cared about, but that's fine. But yeah, I did not, granted. So Maranatha, which was Baptist Bible College, switched over to Maranatha Baptist University.
That was the first thing. First, it was a whole university.
It went, so they went hand in hand because for the longest time, the Maranatha Crusaders, didn't really stand the test of time.
Yeah.
And there was a call for them to change their mascot for a long time.
Yeah.
And it's hard to change something that's well established. I get that. So when they decided they were switching over to university, it was like, okay, this is the time. We're going to be changing that. We might as well change the mascot.
Yep.
And, they put the call out. Let's get creative, people. Because that was the thing. Like, it would have been so disappointing if we suddenly became Maranatha Patriots or the Maranatha, Pioneers or that would have been really bad.
Yeah, it would have been really bad. It wouldn't have been Pioneers. But even I'll even say though that Pioneers isn't as bad as it could be.
Yeah.
Pioneers isn't a bird.
I don't. So. Yeah, it's not a bird. It's not a lion.
Yeah.
What would be the other stereotypical Christian? You don't really see the sports teams that are the lambs, but that should be more powerful than a lion, right? Yeah. Anyway. The slaughtered lamb? No. Okay, we digress.
Well, we are going to go down some of those.
Well,
we are going to do that, which will be fun.
Well, so
keep going with the
I definitely went on the search. I'm like, okay, we got to find something, and you want something. Honestly, what is the purpose of a mascot? The mascot can unify, yes, but it's also supposed to strike fear into
fear in the opponent. Exactly.
Now, I should also make a point to say I grew up near Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
We know.
Okay, so when it comes to mascots, listen, I know I'm prejudiced, but when it comes to mascots in baseball, I don't think anybody beats the Pirates. I really enjoy a good Buccaneer, good looking, and I really love that their current mascot. I really do love it. I've always loved it. But they also had the parrot. The pirate parrot was technically the mascot of the Pirates.
Yeah.
And it's fun. It's whimsical. It's, that's not the thing that strikes fear. Their actual name is the thing that strikes fear. Yeah. So there's that. But then you also have the Pittsburgh Penguins. Now, Penguins do not strike fear whatsoever, but they're really good on ice. So it makes sense. It does. But you know what? I still don't really understand the Steelers. I'm just going to be honest. I do have an ornament that goes on my tree I don't even know if people recognize they actually have a mascot.
They do,
this miner, this guy that not, young, like the actual coal miner.
Yep.
And he got the hard hat on and everything. And, he goes on my tree every year. And every time I put him on, it's like, man, that's a disappointing mascot. It really is. But what else are you going to do? Like, you really can't be a lump of coal. That doesn't doesn't work.
You can't be three diamonds.
You can't be
stacked on each other.
You can't be a steel beam. Like that's no.
You could have just like a guy with a steel beam as a head. Like he has like a little face on a steel beam.
That would like a T,
like a Gumby. Like that look.
Yeah, I don't know. But anyway.
Yeah, anyway.
So when it comes to mascots, again, my life has been preparing for this moment, for this episode. This episode of the Christian Principles Podcast is brought to you by the Herzog Foundation. As Christian educators, we know that liberty without truth is fragile. And truth starts with God. That's why the Herzog Foundation has launched the Faith and Freedom 250 campaign, an initiative that equips schools and families to connect the biblical roots of American freedom to the next generation. Having started on July 4th, 2025, and following through until July 3rd, 2026, Herzog is releasing short videos each Friday, highlighting voices from across the country, educators, leaders, parents, and everyday Americans, reflecting on key moments in our nation's history and the importance of commemorating 250 years of liberty. We all understand how faith has always been central to our country's founding and why it still matters today. It's an incredible way to integrate history, civics, and biblical worldview into your school's curriculum, especially as we approach America's 250th birthday in 2026. Visit herzogfoundation.com to view their free resources and get started today. And make sure to tell them that the fellas here at the Christian Principles Podcast sent you. GradeLink has a smart feature for athletic directors and coaches. Automatic eligibility alerts. If a student athlete drops below academic requirements, coaches get notified right away. No need to chase down grades. Head to cpp.gradelink.com to see it in action.
Back to the point you made about Maranatha, and that is the university that this friend group has in common as well, the one I'm speaking about. That friend group lived through the Crusader to Saber Cat transition, and it was referenced on this text thread that transition was a good transition. It was a wise one to make. It was a good one to make. To be honest, I'll say it, and I love me some Maranatha Baptist University. I truly do. I was not an original fan of the Saber Cats. I thought it was too far afield and there was something else that we could possibly do. I do like what Maranatha did with the baseball hat, the baseball team, the softball team's hats with the kind of claw scratch, and that goes hard. I like that.
I do
one.
scratch.
Yeah, shout out to Jared Lawson for getting me one of those. I was pumped. I bought another one because they're awesome. So, but the text thread took an awesome turn and said, out of every available species in the kingdom, in Kingdom's Animalia, 90% settle on eagles. Which, okay, a little bit too close to home because, of course, Matt's school, the school
we're
I'm
not
part
eagles.
of, we're the Falcons, so it is a bird of prey. Okay, I get the point. Bird of prey. And he goes, why not Leviathan or Behemoth? Yeah, if you insist on biblical animals, why not go with a different biblical animal that would be?
Well, again, as I said, the lamb technically should outdo them all.
Should. So then we kept going. Oh, by the way, I didn't believe this was actually true till I looked it up. Salem, Massachusetts. And I had seen, and I put this in the thread, in Salem, Massachusetts, you know what the local high school mascot is?
I'm really tempted to say a word, but I don't know. It is.
It's the witches.
Oh, my word.
It's the Salem witches.
Well,
and
I mean,
in this PC world we live in, and that still exists. And I have to think that there have been Christians that have gone through Salem, Massachusetts public education. I'm guessing at some point they've thrown up a bit of a, we're not going. We should change this. But here's the thing: when you go on their website and you see the Salem, they lean into it. Their logo is this ugly witch drawing, and the top of the district's website, it's a witch on a broom riding away. It's incredible.
That is their identity. That's what. About Salem.
I don't disagree. But do you take the worst part of your history and just make that, from the outside looking in, one of the worst parts of your history, and just make that what you are going to be known as for your high school? But to your point, very unique, does strike at least grotesque feelings, maybe gross feelings, if not fear, into the opponent. Unifying, absolutely, nobody else has that. So I did bring that one up, but there were some other suggestions that came through. So as I roll through some of these suggestions, Matt, you need to come up with some of your own thoughts or comment on these as go. But what about being the Giants of Gath? or this one, the Bears of Elisha?
Yeah, I was going to say the She-Bears.
Yeah, the sheep. Exactly. Be the sheep. Like, that'd be a great name. The Faith Baptist She-Bears. Come at us, bro. The Whitewashed Tombs.
No.
That's great. Whitewash. Now, of course, that's negative in the Bible, but just it's available to you. The 7-headed dragons.
Yeah, there you go.
Think about the image we see in it's Isaiah. The image I just trying to put into words that image of heaven and what those angels would have been. You could be the angels. Like, you really could just be the
angels.
And then you don't make it Precious Moments angels. You make it what is described as some of the, the scary angels, and actually make that. Love that one. I thought of one myself. I was pretty proud of it. You could be the tent pegs.
Yes.
It was JL, right?
Yes,
JL. Drove that tent peg, baby. Yeah. So I'd be like, you'd be the malls and the pegs as you wanted to be driving. Again,
that's something really drives home.
Drive home your point.
Yeah.
Then a couple of the guys went to the Philadelphia Pharisees. Again, you wouldn't. It's a little bit negative, but
what is it with we keep going back to the ones we don't want to emulate?
True enough.
Like, I'd be okay if our arch rival or we give them a mascot. Like,
I still when I talked to Beth Bogger, for whatever reason, when I was in high school, we knew Chestertown Christian Academy as Cheatertown, and she recognized it the other day as something that wasn't something she hadn't heard before. Which I was like, well, if the shoe fits, well, then you wear that shoe. But no, we love Lynn and we love Beth, but a little friendly back and forth. How about Brood of Vipers?
Yeah.
Again, negative, but
we love the terminology that Christ used for the Pharisees. I don't know if that's necessarily your mantle you want to wear.
The 4 horsemen.
But like, yeah, my mind goes to like, why don't we say like the whited robes, or we're the I mean, we might as well go down we're the Amalekites, we're the
all the negative ones.
Yeah, all
if we're gonna go negative, I hear you. I hear
like the mighty men. Like, there you go. You got the mighty men of David's mighty men.
There were some other ones. There were some other funny ones. We won't go into all the ones because they largely are repeats here at this point. But the idea was just imagine the options that are available in the Bible. Why not go with them, or ones that are somewhat close to the Bible? And there is a list given here of like just outside of biblical animals, or think about ones that would be associated with that time or associate. So you could, what about, we have here a list of honey badgers or the mammoths.
Yeah.
Terminator. Well, who was the wasp? Not the killer wasps, but the
cow killers.
Is that what it was?
Because I think it's like a nickname. The cow killer.
Yeah. Yeah. But they come in, they in the Revelation, they have like the head of a man.
Oh, yeah,
and all that kind of stuff. Right. So they could be those.
Well, see, if we're gonna go with, we would just want to claim like a mascot that Christ said, then why don't we should just be the branches, right?
See, even that though isn't that bad.
That's a great one. We're the branches.
That's good. That's good.
The Bayview branches. There you go, Josh.
You can have Bible Baptist branches. Bible Baptist branches, who we are. I love that. But
so good. But going back to, you were mentioning like the mammoths and all that. That was actually one of my suggestions for the Maranatha changeover mascot.
Why?
Not mammoth. I'm saying I went to, let's find a creature.
Yeah.
That is just, again, strikes fear, but nobody uses it.
Nope.
And here's the one I came up with. Now, granted, I understood as soon as I made the suggestion, it was never going to work. But I'm questioning if I have the correct name, and that's why, because it's not an easy name.
Yeah.
But it's the macrocellis.
Oh my word! Sounds like a cherry.
Okay, it's not a cherry. It is literally an alligator snapping turtle. Wow. And these things are living dinosaurs. You look up a macrocelli, I'm telling you, these things strike fear into your heart.
Then they nickname you the Max, and they think you were some kind of like Scottish school.
Or I mean, you could just go to the snappers and the Maranatha snappers, but there might actually be a school that does use that. But I also thought, man, that would be just like, you just chomp down on them. But yeah, it didn't fly. They went with the saber cats. But yeah, so that was also my go-to, was find that creature that is not the common one, that would be like, that is creative. And you know what? I think at the end of the day, that is it. We want creativity. We're living a day like we just don't want to be the run of the mill.
Oh no. Our students are looking for swag. Our students are looking for something they can absolutely. They are used to graphics and images, and they're used to graphics, images, and seeing those graphics and images everywhere and creatively in such a way that those who came before, they weren't used to that. They weren't used to being able to put make AI out of your mascot running and destroying the other mascot.
We have a school close to home. I'm trying to remember what is it? Is it Pemberton?
Yeah,
what is their mascot? They're the Penguins? Yeah, okay. Well, again, it's just like, come on.
Well, to your point about being close to home, though, I found a lot of enjoyment when I was at my second installment at Seaside Christian Academy, having a time of bringing on an athletic program, and so needing to bring back the mascot that was formerly used when the school had athletics, and it was the Marlins. So the Seaside Christian Academy Fighting Marlins.
I will say is a great mascot, especially for a school that lives right off the ocean,
right off the water. Absolutely.
Seaside Marlins. Well done.
Yes, Seaside. Exactly. That and it wasn't me that made it. Sure. I really enjoyed it. I loved it. It reminded me so much of the minor league baseball logos, and I am a hat fiend. I don't know how big my collection is right now. I don't buy hats that are not of the Baltimore or Maryland team based variety, because there's plenty of variety in those hats to have. But I am an appreciator of the minor league logos across the board, from the Trash Pandas to the, I'm going to forget all of them now, but there's the Oh, that's horrible. Well, anyway, I love what they've done with the colors and the logos. Our local team, the Delmarva Shorebirds, throughout the year, they're going to be Los Gallos de Delmarva. They're also going to be the Chincoteague Ponies, and each one of those graphics is awesome. And they have a color scheme that is very inviting to the younger crowd. And I think there's to my friend's point, I do think that there is a lot of benefit that could come for a school that's just starting, or a school that wants to rebrand as something more exciting, to get local, to get into a color scheme which is versatile, to get into a brand which their students want to get behind. And to be honest, that's the sort of thing that onboarding it probably would wind up actually getting a family or two, showing that they're showing their excitement perhaps in a way they hadn't, or even just getting attention to be something that is a little bit different. And I know, like you said, what has been there for 50 years, and it's hard to replace that. But
and to be on top of that, getting everybody on board.
Yes, because you're going to have people.
You're never going to make everybody happy. Yeah. And I know when I was at Maranatha and they changed over to Sabercats, there was an outpouring of like, what? That's so lame. Yeah. But you got to give it time.
Yeah.
And I think they did a great job. And Snarly is a wonderful addition to the athletics program.
I continue to say that we are actually Seder Cats because we were the Crusaders.
We are the Seder Cats.
There is a generation of us who are the Seder Cats, and we should hang on to that and get it actually, memorialized somewhere. But this has been fun. This has been good. I like that you responded overall. And think about this. This isn't one we're going to pull a lot of spiritual emphasis from. But
I have to make this point though before we wrap up.
Yeah, go ahead.
Because it does drive me a bit bonkers in that one year when I was taking students up to Annapolis and we were getting a tour from one of the delegates, he did have to make a point. He said, "You do know that all Christians really need to be Baltimore Ravens fans."
Really?
And he quoted scripture of the Ravens giving the food to Elijah. And I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. That is not why Baltimore's mascot is Ravens. But now it's like every time, like, man,
think about it.
And then when we get to that portion of the Old Testament, which I teach Old Testament, like, here we go.
I just thought of another one: the daggers, Ehud's daggers.
The lefties.
The lefties. I love it. See, that's just that thought. Like one away from the two on the nose. It's a little bit. Why are you the lefties? Let me tell you a story. Let me tell you a story. There was a fat guy. All right. We need to move on to our Christian Administrator Spotlight. And today, our Christian Administrator Spotlight is going out to Lisa Weldy of Tabernacle Christian School. Now, this is Tabernacle Christian School, not of John Needler's Hickory, North Carolina. This is Lisa Weldy of Tabernacle Christian School down in Alabama, down in Gardendale, Alabama. Now, Lisa serves as the principal of Tabernacle. So Matt's going to pray for you now, Lisa, the principal of Tabernacle Christian in Gardendale, Alabama.
Lord, thank you for Lisa. Thank you for the work that she does there at Tabernacle. And I pray that you would give her support, encouragement, guidance, wisdom. Just pour your blessings out on her as she seeks to pursue her relationship with you through the ministry that you have called her to. I pray that you would just surround her with just a wonderful community of faculty, staff, parents, students that are all seeking to meet the mission the Tabernacle has. Just may Lisa have a wonderful end of this school year, and as she prepares for the next, just bring all of the needed solutions that she is seeking for. And we'll pray this all in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. All right, go rethink your mascots. But besides that, thanks for growing with us today.
We want to thank you for listening. We're honored that you spend this time with us each week. Our heart is to bring you practical conversations and resources that really serve you as a Christian school leader. One of the best ways you can help us spread the word is by leaving us a review and sharing the podcast with other Christian school principals you're connected with. You can also follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Join the conversation and share any posts that resonate with you. Every share makes a difference in helping more leaders find encouragement and practical tools. And remember, the podcast is just one way we help. We also love serving schools through speaking and workshops. Our keynotes and sessions are designed to give you actionable strategies you can take back to your team and implement right away. If you'd like more details, just send us an email at info@christianprinciplespodcast.com. We'd love to connect. Until next time, thanks for joining us on the Christian Principles Podcast.